right. Greetings.
Hello.
And welcome. Welcome back or welcome to Morbid Mondays, your unhinged source for what the fuck moments in history, where we will take turns giving you a weekly tour throughout all of the gross, gory, and downright odd moments in history. We're your hosts. I am Katie, otherwise known as the Catastrophe.
And I am a chain-smoking Archaeopteryx, Brian.
Period.
I don't know if that hits as good as rustic potato.
Rustic Victorian potato.
I am a T-Rex with a cocaine habit, Brian.
Oh no!
I am Brian, a disbalanced front tire.
I am a giggly bitch is what I am. Fuck. All right.
We're trying things, guys.
Listen.
We did it. That was one of our New Year's marks, though, is having a intro.
Getting a qualified intro ready, even though I wrote it like 10 minutes ago.
It's 10 seconds ago. It's pretty. I went to go grab a cup of coffee while you were writing your second one for you. Excellent.
All right. So we did the thing. So that's one.
Yeah. Second promise, trigger warnings.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, hi. I am actually your presenter today. And welcome to the episode that killed my Morbid Mondays on TikTok because I got way too deep into this one and never got around to finishing the recording because I was like 9 pages of notes deep and still going, and it was a problem. So trigger warnings. This one has a little bit of everything for everybody. So, like, be on your guard or maybe skip this episode.
This shit has everything.
Literally. It's pretty gnarly. They're like, I mean, some of you may recognize it, and I will tell you in just a moment, and probably butcher the pronunciation, so fair warning there, but today's topic is Hinterkaifek. Now, if you do not know what that is, which the look I'm getting from Brian says, I don't know,
it's
what
like
the fuck.
You said Kaiser Sose or something, and I'm like, Kaiser what? Hinterkaifek.
Nothing will ever hit as good as Aqua Tavana.
Yeah, that's right. Mufasa.
So this is actually kind of a little bit of a true crime episode. This is a murder case that happened back in 1922.
Okay.
Yeah, in Bavaria, Germany.
So if we had any like hard lines, these are your triggers. We've got like murder, blood, gore.
Yeah, murder, blood.
Essay?
Yes.
Okay, essay is a big one.
Child abuse.
Damn, this does have everything.
Incest. Boy, I told you. I warned you this one was a grab bag.
Puppies and a wood chipper.
Not a wood chipper, but one does get hurt.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
I'm excited now. I love weird, gross stuff.
Yeah, this one is gnarly. So, now I have a song stuck in my head.
Not about a puppy and a wood chipper.
No.
Puppy. I can't.
You can tell the episode's gonna be dark when we start out giggling because we're both uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here.
Oh my god. Okay, so let me set this intro aside real quick and get to my notes. I have condensed them, so fear not, you're not gonna be here for 7 hours. Because I'm going to attempt to remain concise.
Oh, that was the other thing.
And to the point. Yes, I know.
I made a...
Oh, you got us a clock.
I got us a clock.
I didn't even realize there was a clock in here. Oh my god, I'm the least observant person in the world.
Well, there's always shit up on that wall, though.
True, but you'd think I would have noticed a fucking clock.
Welcome to season 2.
You're right. Season 2, we have a clock.
The clockening.
Okay, so let's set the tone a little bit. It's 1922. It is just before World War One. No, it's after World War One.
Yeah,
just before World War Two. Sorry, words are hard.
Yeah.
Germany is kind of in the midst of a recession, and by kind of I mean like the German mark is in trouble.
Yeah.
It is a period of yikes, and it's honestly kind of what built up into giving the Nazi Party its push into power because people were desperate and they were looking for help, leadership, and any kind of like guidance because once again, yikes. So the main part of our case takes place March 31st, 1922. But there's some context and groundwork I need to lay down. Because like I said, I condensed this. This is an old piece of research for me. This was one of the last episodes that I was preparing to do on my TikTok channel, and it snowballed. It snowballed so bad it killed my entire Morbid Monday series.
I remember you talking to me about this, and there was a thing that you were covering that you just went like, I can't do this anymore. Like, you just kind of stopped.
Yeah, this one got like, the more like on its surface, this one seems very like when I initially began researching it, it seemed very much like just one of those unsolved cases in history that was kind of a combination of that's weird and what the fuck's wrong with your investigative techniques? Like, what happened here?
Oh, yeah, non-existent, I'm sure, in 1920s Germany. If that's
Yeah, and there are some other things that we will get into, but setting the context for this story, the farm Hinterkaifek was owned by, well, it went through a couple of different hands first. It
was a Von something, I'm sure.
Well, no, it went through a weird kind of like hand down custody. Cecilia, one of the I guess the matriarch of the family, was married once before the I guess the patriarch.
Yeah.
That will become one of the main characters of this story. But it came from his family and he died. And so it passed to her. And then from her, it went into her husband's care, and then like it was supposed to be passed to her daughter. Anyway, there's a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm trying really, really hard to kind of streamline it a little bit because, once again, the further I dug into this case, just the more awful came up, like just repeatedly. Like, yeah, the one of our main characters, our main players, one of the victims, I guess, is Andreas Gruber, and he is the patriarch of the family during this event. He's not a good guy. I have zero sympathy for this asshole. None at all. At all. And you'll see why shortly. So once again, let me drop you those trigger warnings. This one has everything. The end of this story ends in murder, and it's pretty gnarly. There is child abuse, SA, just kind of general ew.
Yeah, I get you.
Like,
there's just creepy weird shit in the vein of like, there's this guy that makes lampshades out of skin or whatever. It's not necessarily about the murder, but it's like creepy, right?
So with the knowledge of spoilers here, I'm gonna take my pen away from myself.
Katie's doing her best Hogwarts impersonation.
Wingardium Leviosa, motherfucker. Anyway.
So we've got, all right, so far we've got a farm that has gone into, I think, probate is their version or whatever that may be.
Basically, it's passed from its original owner and ownership and family to the wife. And the wife, like, almost immediately gets remarried, like a year after her husband dies. She is remarried to one of the farmhands.
Well, that's...
Yeah.
That's interesting right off the bat. Okay.
So,
and that is Gruber?
That is Andreas Gruber. Now, Cecilia is 10 years his senior. And she, if I recall correctly, she has had 2 children previous with her husband that has passed on. But if I recall, neither of them make it to adulthood.
Okay.
And then she will go on to have 4 children with Andreas. And I think only 2 of them, no, one of them will make it to adulthood, and that is Victoria.
That's, all right, so I'm interested right off the bat. How many were boys?
If I remember right, Victoria had a brother, but I'm not sure. Once again, this research is old, and I did some brief refreshers.
Yeah. It may not be relevant, but I was just like, is she like a man killer? Like that.
Well, no. That's the thing is in this particular story, I'm pretty sure that Miss Cecilia is in fact an overall victim.
That's why. Okay, cool.
Because
I'm for a loop already.
The man that she married, Andreas Gruber, is just all around unfucking pleasant. and I don't know how he managed to talk her into marrying him.
So where do we start with all this?
Let's go 6 months before the murder.
Okay.
Let's start there, and I'll give you some context. So, in this house, there is Andreas, Cecilia, Victoria, Victoria's daughter, also named Cecilia, but we'll call her Zilly because she was named after her grandmother, and she's, I think, 7 at this point.
Okay.
And there is a 2-year-old boy named Joseph that is Victoria's son, and then there's the maid. When I tell you that this farm, you're probably thinking kind of farmish, like what we have out here.
Ish, because I'm thinking like if this is in 1920s Germany, it could be like literally a hovel.
It's not.
Or it could be like the side of a mountain in the whole valley.
Not quite that big,
Yeah.
but it is quite the estate.
Yeah.
And it is well away from town, and the Grubers are kind of reclusive. It is a well-known and documented fact that Andreas is kind of a control freak, and he doesn't much care for people.
Okay.
Now, the sad thing is that his daughter, Victoria, is very social. She is recorded to have been very social, loved going to church. She was actually a singer in the choir. And she was also recorded as being very, very, very pretty. Now, I have seen a picture of Victoria, and she is very pretty. Victoria is 27 at this time. She is grown and has 2 children. One of these children was born seemingly out of wedlock. And I will give you kind of an overview on that because I could literally stretch this podcast into like 4 hours with all of the information.
Yeah.
Because it's gnarly. So Victoria was married when she was kind of young, but it was a strained thing because there is documentation that Andreas Gruber was taken to court and convicted at some point for abusing his daughter sexually.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it is
while she was old enough to be married to someone?
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay.
There is a recorded incident where Victoria spoke to a neighbor's wife and was like, "My father is taking advantage of me," and nobody really knew what to do about that. Which, I mean, nowadays with modern sensibilities, you'd be like, haul his ass off to the police.
Right, but the thing is that it will damage her reputation
just as much as his.
A lot.
So, yeah, there is recorded documentation of Victoria having been a victim of, like, even childhood sexual abuse from her father.
Yeah.
Her father is probably the reason that her marriage was as strained as it was, because Victoria does eventually get married. That's how we get her daughter, Silly. And the relationship is not an easy one. In fact, it is so strained, in fact, that her husband at one point leaves and he goes back to his own family.
See, that's an odd point in and of itself, that they're living with them.
Well, her family is better off than his is.
Okay, yeah.
So it's implied somewhere that, like, basically it was a financial marriage. Like, it was more his family was pressing for him to marry into her family.
Oh, I see. Okay.
To gain access to the farm, the money, and all of that jazz. Because the Grubers were, in fact, well off, bordering on rich. In this period of struggle, and I don't want to say famine necessarily, but, like, a lot of people are going hungry because they don't have enough money.
Yeah, there's food around, but also it takes like a barrel of marks to buy like a couple loaves of bread.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Well, the Grubers
the old
never experience any of this. There is always food. There is always meat. There is always financial safety. So this will be relevant, but basically her husband says, "I'm fucking done with this," because it is assumed that Andreas never gives up his claim to his daughter. If you're catching the drift there.
Yeah.
And the abuse continues, and it is he will in fact be discovered, arrested, tried, and convicted for abusing his daughter, and Victoria will also basically get tossed in jail for a month because dumb misogynistic bullshit. Basically,
all he has to say is like, well, she made eyes at me
yeah.
or whatever, and yeah,
it's
the same stupid shit that goes on like in certain countries right now with purity laws and morality police and
same concept.
Yeah.
So that's to give you kind of the background of what's happening here. Andres is known to be abusive, not only sexually, but like verbally and physically.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah.
he's one of those types.
Yeah, if you'll take out your lust on somebody, you'll also take out your frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're pissed off that you have these feelings, you're still going to take it out on that person.
So on the outside, the Gruber family is doing well. On the inside, it's probably hell for the women. And Andreas Gruber was known to hire people illegally to work the farm so he could pay them less.
God damn, this guy's a real shithead.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in that time period and place, it would be like French or Polish people, I assume.
Yeah.
Or Austrians.
I didn't really get into that. I just know that he like paid peanuts, basically.
Yeah, sure. Because everybody's so fucking starved for like work and money that you can take advantage of people. Like
exactly. And the Gruber farm has a revolving door of workers. Like, nobody stays on long, especially the housemaids. That's to give you the background on how this is.
Yeah.
And that is the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot more. But so up to date, we've got a once pedophilic, probably still pedophilic, and now I'm worried about her daughter. And then a woman has been taken advantage of. He's released. Right, so he's still head of the family, and everybody's still living in the same house?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And then also he's like a shitty fucking
capitalist
employer. Yeah, like I would say slumlord, but that's not what's going on here.
Bro is just all around a bad dude.
Yeah.
But for some reason, everybody sticks around. Now, I presume that, like, because of our modern sensibilities and it's being raised socially how we were, I know that I, in particular, would have been like, fucking deuces, I'm out.
Yeah.
No.
Some people in that situation, though, like, of course, there's, like, Stockholms, but also I read a very disturbing book about a lady wrote a book about her experience as a sexual assault survivor, and, like, it was her dad. And she had in her memoir, she had very mixed feelings. She both hated him and also, like, would have dreams about him.
Yeah.
Because that was something she experienced from a very young age.
I imagine that was probably very much the case with Victoria, too. And not only that, but he held the purse strings for the family.
Yeah.
So she is literally caught between a rock and a hard place. As unfortunate as it is, all of this happens when Victoria is young, and so now she is an adult. So we are coming current. So 6 months previous to the murder, the housemaid that they have just up and quits. She says, "This place is fucking haunted. I'm leaving." Right? Where did that come from?
Right. Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. Okay.
So
I was gonna say this guy keeps trying to put his dong in me. I'm getting out of here.
Well, here's the thing. Is that the said maid is, I believe her name was, oh god, it sounded like Cressida, but it's not. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, not Miss Cowper.
Cressida? It sounded like Cressida. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a cr sound.
Like a Lucretia or something like that.
No, it's definitely a hard K at the beginning, KR something, but I can't remember. But she will later go on the record as stating, on 2 separate instances, she will state that she would hear things moving around at night. And the door to her room would open on its own. And she couldn't see anyone. And it spooked her. And she gave that as kind of the initial reason for why she left. And then later she would say that she walked in on Andreas abusing Victoria in the barn.
There we go, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was why she left.
Yeah, a ghost.
A ghost. Spooky. So the maid leaves. Yeah. Bails out. And the family is doing without. And some weird shit starts happening. And we know this because Andreas would complain to anyone that would listen about shit. Like, keys would go missing. they were hearing footsteps in the attic at night, right? And it sounds very much like someone is living in your house without you knowing.
Yeah, my immediate thought went to, because I've heard many historical stories about people living in the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these people are emaciated and
Bros,
right, not really
reasons I'm so glad we
anyway.
live in the South, because like our houses aren't built for crawl spaces like that.
No, they don't have them.
Like
modern homes, period, have like a 16-inch clearance. You would
Yeah.
have to be so small. That's why people are worried. Like, well, what if somebody's in your walls? And it was like, well, then I'll throw them through the wall because they're tiny.
Yeah, I will literally punch through this drywall
Yeah.
to get that person.
Because they're 2 feet tall and all of 20 pounds.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
and
There's no way.
another thing that I don't subscribe to here in the South, that I think people in like the middle and
Yeah.
north have to worry about, is people living in the attic,
Right.
because our attics are not built.
Oh, you would.
You would go through the roof.
I've lived in an attic, and a farm that we stayed at for a little while,
Mhm.
in an apartment that did have an AC, but when the AC was off,
It was miserable.
you baked.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you wouldn't survive.
shit we ain't got to worry about here. Yeah. So the previous maid quits 6 months prior to the event happening, and she claims that she's hearing voices and footsteps, and she's spooked. And then will later go on record as saying, "I walked in on the most awful thing happening." And so the family, 6 months later, is starting to hear the same things. They're hearing footsteps, voices, scrapes. Keys go missing. Specifically keys. Like Andreas makes a big fucking deal about these keys going missing. Like, he's talking to people in town about these missing keys. Like, he's making a ruckus at home about said missing. Everybody knows about the goddamn missing keys.
Yeah.
And then one of these nights where he starts hearing things go down, like the family is awake and going, "What the fuck?" So he basically grabs a shotgun and goes looking. And he finds that from the edge of the woods to the house, there's a set of footprints in the snow. Just to, like, set the scene. But there aren't footprints returning anywhere. There's no second set of prints.
Oh.
So he is now convinced that there is someone in his house. So he searches the house in the morning, mind you.
Yeah.
In
So
the
there's
morning.
light.
And he discovers that there is like a door to one of the storage sheds that has been, like, all scratched up but pried open.
Okay.
And there is just spooky shit that's telling him that there are people that I do not know about in my house, that aren't my farmhands, that aren't my family. And then he finds a newspaper. It was like a local Munich paper that no one in his house subscribed to. Like, no one paid for that paper.
Yes.
And then when he spoke to the mailman, he's like, "No one around here orders those."
I would think, this is just my go, right?
Mm.
We are in a depression. We're in the post-Treaty of Versailles. After World War I, Germany's doing real bad.
Yeah.
Big. So Munich is one of, like, the big cities. I would think that I was looking at the evidence of transients, because it's in the snow,
Mm-hmm.
who are leaving, trying to get somewhere else, and have broken into my barn to sleep, and then now have moved on.
You'd think. So Andreas was known to be very, like, hostile to vagrants and transients,
Yeah.
which tracks for his personality. Seriously, how did he convince her to marry him?
Maybe he had dirt on her.
I don't know. And so soon.
Either
too.
that or he helped her get rid of her former husband.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. There's not much to be found on Joseph. Then again, I wasn't really looking for Joseph.
So we got footprints in the snow, a busted open door,
Mm-hmm.
or scratched and then pulled open, which is weird right off the bat.
Yeah, like that one didn't. That one made me go, "Why scratched?"
Yeah, why a bunch of scratches?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was all marked up. So there are a couple other players in this story. One of them is the neighbor, just to the side. Like, I think it said it was 5 kilometers. So they're the closest neighbor.
That's still a pretty good amount away, though. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's a big far.
I remember that guy's name. I remember his last name is Schlittenbauer. but I cannot remember his first name.
We'll call him Schlittenbauer because there's not going to be any more of those, I promise.
Yeah. So he's their nearest neighbor, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle between them a few years ago because Victoria wanted to marry him, and he wanted to marry her, and Andreas was like, no.
Because he is, I assume, also a farmer.
Yeah.
That has property and would be more than capable of keeping her away from. She would leave. Yeah,
basically. My assumption here is that Victoria was desperately trying to get away.
Oh, I'm sure. The only person that could marry her was somebody who had to move in. Then.
Yeah, and her previous husband died in
mysterious circumstances.
No, he died in the war.
Oh, right. Yeah. Not so mysterious circumstances.
No.
A howitzer shell hit him.
Well, he apparently died in one of the bombing raids that I can't remember.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that he was listed as dead, killed in action, but he was actually missing. Like, they never really found the body.
Yeah.
So,
well, that was a thing. So that was a thing in World War I, is because you had no man's land.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody went over the top, for instance, and was shelled or was hit by, like, these early bombs were not really that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, I mean, you take any bomb point blank.
Yeah, and also you're in a big ditch. Mm-hmm. So sometimes bombing raids would carpet bombing is not effective, especially if people are entrenched, because they're below the blast surface, right? So like it hits the ground, it goes boom, and then all the shrapnel doesn't hit you because you're underground.
Mm-hmm.
But if it causes a cave in, nobody ever finds you.
Well,
right? So
yeah. So her husband, her previous husband, her first husband, is listed as killed in action.
Yeah.
So she's a widow. She's pretty young, actually. Like, this would have been what? She would have been 25.
Yeah.
If she was 27 at the event, she would have been 24, 25. So she's still pretty young, and she's only got one kid. So she is trying to find another husband, and she appeals to the neighbor. Unfortunately, when she initially presents her case to the neighbor, he is married. And his wife will later go on to die of something.
Yeah.
As it does. And then he's like, all right, I'm single now. Hi. And she's like, oh, yes, please, 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 please. And then, of course, as it goes for the time, he has to get Andreas's consent. And Andreas is like, mm-mm.
Which is so strange because of her age. You'd figure they could just elope.
You'd think, right? But I am kind of figuring for the fact that Victoria is kind of trapped. Yeah. Not only in her mentality of being constantly abused, but like there's kind of she has very little freedom.
Yeah, I mean, you figure that like even if she goes to like the local church, what I assume is one of the wealthiest guys in town is her dad.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have some pull there.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have some pull in the courts.
And this is of course after his conviction of incest.
That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That you could walk in town.
Yeah. Like no, don't get me wrong. Their reputation is permanently damaged because of that. Because it's true. He is abusing his daughter. But she's still just stuck. Like, supposedly the deeds and all of the paperwork, like, she's supposed to be in ownership of the farm. But I presume that Andreas isn't handing anything over to her. So eventually Victoria and the neighbor convince her father to like let up on the reins and agree to let them marry. And Schlittenbauer says, "Okay, I will absolutely do this. I will marry her on the one condition that whatever you are doing to her stops."
Yeah.
And Andreas is recorded to have said, "We'll see."
Oh, I'd be slitting some throats. Like, yeah, that's So
you remember how I said that Victoria had a 2-year-old son?
Uh-huh.
Well, Victoria pops up pregnant. And she tells Schlittenbauer, she's like, "I'm pregnant." And he is, presumably, their relationship at this point had progressed to physical. Presumably, I guess, because he goes on record to have said, I couldn't be sure who the father of the child was.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, he's thinking it's probably his.
He throws...
At best case scenario, it would be better for him to simply claim it's his for his future wife's sake and also for his like family's reputation and
Well,
everything.
here's the thing. Is whatever happened between the proposal of the engagement and the we'll see and I'm pregnant pisses Schlittenbauer the fuck off because he basically tries to bring Andreas up on charges again.
Yikes.
And like he brings into question the paternity of the child that isn't even born yet, by the way. Like there's a whole thing that basically ignites a feud between these two families. Victoria is no longer permitted to marry this man, and she is once again trapped on the farm. And yeah, it is. Let me tell you, it was a pain to read.
Yikes. All right, so what happens after this?
So there are some court things, and it is assumed that lots and lots of money exchanged hands, and Schlittenbauer recants everything, takes it all back, drops the case.
It's got to be either a lot of money changes hands, or somehow he gets dirt on Schlittenbauer. Something happens because he's already been found guilty before.
Exactly. Like the whole damn town knows.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking does anything. What's wrong with these people?
Dude, it's double weird because this is like Germany in the 1920s. Yeah. I expect someone just shows up with a fucking like rifle.
So,
like this is like
the baby is born. It's a boy, and Victoria is raising this kid on her own. She's basically has a son out of wedlock, and by all social standards at this point, no one will touch her with a 10-foot pole. She's trapped. I know. By this story's events, the child is 2 years old, and things have progressed to a kind of a sense of normality. The maid leaves, and they're like searching for a new housemaid. Life goes on, and weird shit starts happening. And we've already gone over that, so that's like keys are missing, mysterious newspaper from Munich, the creepy one-way footprints. The horrible sounds that they're hearing in the attic. Like, they're hearing people talking, things moving, people moving, footsteps. Like, there's somebody living in your attic or your place is haunted as fuck.
Yeah.
And I found somewhere, and I cannot confirm this because I only found it on one source, and I remember reading this and going, what? But one of the family members gets so fucking spooked that they just bolt out into the snow and they stay there. They would rather stay out in the snow all night and stay in that house. That's how creeped. Now, like I said, I could only find one source that said that.
Yeah.
So it's not confirmed or anything.
But that's a rational thing to do. If, like, you go in the attic, you can't see anything.
Now, I presume that they didn't stay out in the snow. They probably went to the barn.
Yeah, sure.
Because this is a kind of a sprawling complex of a farm. Like, there's the main house, there's a barn, there's several, like, work areas.
Yeah.
Like, looking at pictures of it,
it's a real barn. Like, it's a real farm.
It's a real farm. Now, it no longer exists. Like, it was knocked down after this. And there's a memorial there. But, like, looking at pictures from the era,
you've got a stable, you've got a barn. Like, that is a barn not for, like, putting tools in, but is a barn for storing hay.
Storing hay and probably equipment. And there were lots of equipment.
Yeah, or, like, literally bales of wheat. Yeah, sure. Big old school, like, Amish type farm. So
it sounds very much to me like this was... My initial thought was this was a burglary gone shitty. Like, because that's just what my modern brain says.
Yeah.
But reading further into it, the more I learned, the more I went, this is some kind of long-term planned heist. Because it continues. Like weird shit happens for months until suddenly, one night, no one in the Gruber family is heard from. Like,
no one?
No.
None of the kids? Nobody?
Mm-mm.
Like, by heard from, you mean the place is, like, they're gone?
Well, that's the thing, is that the Gruber family were reclusive, as probably per Andreas Gruber's preferences. But even he, like, would be in town, like, at the store, at the hardware place, like, you know.
Yeah.
It was probably a small town, but, like...
You gotta buy stuff.
Yeah.
You have to come in and do business.
Well, no one has seen them for several days. And mind you, this is March 31st. No one has seen them. No one's heard from them. there are various traders that, like, go from farmstead to farmstead. Like, hey, we've got stuff. Do you want stuff? No one answers at the Gruber farm. And it's a coffee trader that says this, and it's presumed that they were a pretty regular customer of said coffee.
Yeah, sure.
Merchant.
Because everybody, once you start drinking, like, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't drink coffee today. I had tea. Look at
well, I've got a giant cup of coffee.
And I'm jealous. So the coffee merchant moves on to the Schlittenbauer farm and is like, yo, shit's weird over at the Grubers. We didn't get anybody. I didn't see anyone. No one answered the door. Lights aren't on. What's going on? And the Schlittenbauer's like, that's weird. And this happens a couple more times with various, like, roving merchants.
Yeah.
And then a mechanic, someone who he was hired to work on the engine of something. And you'll forgive my notes because I didn't write what he was supposed to be working the engine of, but I presume it was a tractor.
Yeah, that's
or something.
The right amount of time.
I don't know, but he was some sort of machinist hired to come to the farm to fix something. And even he said, I couldn't find anyone. But I've been here before. I know what I was hired to do. I've been paid in advance. I'm going to do my job. And he spends 5 or 6 hours doing his job on said farm and sees absolutely no one. But here's the thing, is that in the space of time between March 31st and April 4th, neighbors have seen smoke coming out of the chimney. The animals are being tended to. And the dog isn't, like, the dog who is known to be very, very yappy isn't. It's very quiet, but life seems to be just continuing as per usual on the Gruber farm. By April 4th, shit's gotten weird enough that the town is like, all right, we should probably check on them because Victoria missed church on Sunday. Victoria never misses church. Victoria is one of the lead singers in the choir.
Yeah.
And I would presume that Sundays are probably the only days that she gets real social interaction.
Oh, I imagine.
So
yeah.
I
At
imagine
a place that he cannot push his weight around.
Yeah. So I would imagine that like Victoria not being in church on Sunday is probably the call to action the town takes.
And this is probably also the place where, like, people meet up to discuss town business. If you're going to do something, now's the time.
So Schlittenbauer and a couple other neighbors head down to the Gruber farm to, like, knock on windows, search areas. Like, they are looking for him, and nobody's answering nothing. But the cow's out roaming. The cow's been milked. The dog is not anywhere that they can find until they hear him barking in the stables. And there is a bit of a kind of, not sure which one came first. I'm not sure if they found the dog kind of beaten up in the stables first, or if they went into the barn proper first. But they do find the dog. The dog has been injured. He's been cut across the face. And he's a little skittish, a little more skittish, but otherwise the dog is okay. They head into the barn, and it's one of those, you know how some of the entrances of barns are very slender?
Yes.
And they branch out into the barn proper? Well, that's kind of the situation here. Like, it's a very slim doorway, like only one person through at a time. And they get into the barn and they start looking around, and somebody sees a foot under a pile of hay. And this is when they discover that all of the... Oh, I completely missed the maid. Okay, I'll go back and I'll fill that in just a second. This is where they discover, basically, all of the adult members of the Gruber family are dead in the barn. And they have been rather meticulously, like, covered and hidden. And mind you, it's at this point April 4th. It's been 5 days.
Yeah.
And it's also snowy and winter.
Right, so they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Sticking around, yeah.
They are uncovered, and Schlittenbauer, the neighbor, starts trying to, like, move the bodies for whatever reason. Like,
right.
that is noted in everything, is that he moves the bodies. Which, why would you do that on an active crime scene?
Well, because they didn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
His thing was probably to get them in a... This was a thing in people for a long time. If you found a dead body, the proper thing to do was to cover them. And so you would, like if you find a dead body in a bush, right, they would pull the body out and then they would like cover it with your cloak or something.
Mm.
Like that was the way to respect the dead.
Yeah, pull them into a more dignified position, I guess.
It was about honoring the person.
Well, so from there, after discovering the bodies of Cecilia, Andre, and Victoria, and little Cecilia, so the little 7-year-old is also in the barn.
Yikes!
Yeah, along with the adults.
All right, so we got. I'm sorry, Victoria on the Gruber, the
Andreas Gruber.
Yeah.
Cecilia Gruber, which is the married couple.
Yes.
Victoria, their daughter. Little Cecilia, Victoria's daughter. Now, there are 2 other people in this household that are not accounted for here.
A maid and a little boy.
Correct.
Yeah.
The maid who began her job yesterday. Or rather, okay, she began her job on March 30th.
Yikes.
I know. It's like the worst case of wrong place, wrong time. The two unnamed neighbors are like wigged at this point. They're like, "Oh my god, they're dead. We're going to go back to town and get the cops." And Schlittenbauer says, "Okay, I need to check on everyone else because he knows about little Joseph."
Yeah.
Which could be his son.
Right, may or may not be his. Yeah.
And he knows that they usually have some sort of maid or housekeeper. So he is, and here's where things get weird, right? Because he lets himself into the house that they have previously established is locked down.
Yeah.
The fuck did he get the keys from?
Right. Did he? Oh, well, I mean, he could have just bashed the door in.
True. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like,
because at this point, this is bashing doors in time. Right?
Yeah.
You've seen a bunch of dead bodies.
And like, the initial report that I read was that Schlittenbauer ran to the house, like sprinted because he was worried about the little boy. And he gets into the house and he discovers that Joseph has been killed in his crib. Like a single blow. And I will spare you guys the medical report details.
Yeah.
As such as they were at the time. But their deaths were not pretty. Yeah, in a room off the kitchen he finds the newly hired maid is also deceased now. We kind of lose firsthand accounts from there. Because from there it kind of picks up when the cops get there, and it is a circus in this active crime scene because like neighbors have curiously come to see what's happened, and things are getting trampled. Like there are people walking around in both the house and the barn where the bodies are.
Yeah.
It is reported that one person even like used the kitchen to cook. I know.
Oddly, that makes sense to me. Not to me now, to me in that time period, because now there's a lot of people, and so like the old women of the town are gonna start cooking for the, you know, like that. That's a weird thing to think, but you see that in like London.
Mm-hmm.
They literally like the cops are investigating a house, and then someone starts using the stove to make coffee.
Yeah,
you know, like they just because that's just they have no forensics. You know what I mean? Like they're just going off of.
It wigs me out that in 1922, just all of these civilians all over this crime scene.
Yeah,
there's clearly been a mass murder here. Like everyone is dead, and people are just tromping through, having a look-see.
They do live in a time period where like most of the young men in your society are probably maimed. It's still fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, yikes! There's bodies everywhere, and can I make the assumption that the rest of the bodies are like hacked up pretty bad?
So here's the thing: is I will let you in on like they will eventually discover that the murder weapon was something called a mattock, which is like a pickaxe on one side and then like something kind of used for chopping on the other. They figure that that's what the murder weapon is because Andreas is taken out with one hit, just straight to the head. As far as I can tell, like that's his only real injury, like, and it just one and done. The women of the family appear to have taken the worst of it. Like Victoria shows not only signs of being hit with the mattock, but also strangulation, and so does Cecilia. And little Cecilia is presumed to have been the last one alive on the farm because her throat was cut. And when they found her, she had clumps of her own hair in her hands. And there were, like, scratch marks.
She's trying to get the thing off of her.
So, she basically, the saddest part of this is it is presumed that had she been found earlier or like later that day or like the next day, she might have lived.
Yikes.
Yeah. So that little one was, that's not pretty. The maid was hit twice from basically the front and kind of on the right side, so it kind of looks like somebody went smack smack.
Yeah.
And the baby was one hit also with the mattock to the noggin. So it was, as far as crime scenes go, I would, it doesn't really, it's not terribly gory. I mean, it's nasty, it's awful, but like nobody's been hacked to bits.
Right. It's not sadistic. It's
yeah,
just,
it doesn't read sadistic. Yeah. It almost reads clinical.
Yeah. Either a person was hired to clean this place out, or they just did, right? Not necessarily hired. I'm not suggesting he's a hitman. But either they came there just to murder everybody, or like you said, it was a robbery gone bad.
See, that's what I thought initially. Yeah. But here's the thing, is that in the what, 4 days after the murder, because it was concluded that they were murdered on March 31st. And they weren't found until April 4th. But in the span between, the killer or killers were living there and taking care of the farm.
Yeah.
Like there's evidence that they were like cooking and eating in the kitchen. The animals were cared for, like, and you and I are both familiar with cow milking enough to know that if you don't milk a cow, they're miserable.
Yeah.
The cow was fine. The only thing that any of them could find like amiss was the one strike to the dog.
Yeah, probably because it tried to bite him or something.
Yeah.
Kicked.
Yeah. So no one knows what happened at all. Like once they finally ship the circus out of the farm and start trying to like do an actual investigation, they can't find the murder weapon. They can't really find anything that points fingers at anyone. Like, there's a former farmhand that was pretty disgruntled. Like, he was fired for being shitty. There's the neighbor next door who kind of accidentally started a feud. But there's never any sort of prime suspect or conviction made. Later, there's a pair of brothers that, like, on one brother's deathbed seems to have confessed to said crime, but there's no proof of anything.
Right. I mean, that's you have very little reason, I guess, not. You have very little reason to lie, but literally, it could just be cops clearing books.
Yeah, it's wild how little of anything there is. Like, not only because of, like, you know, forensic duties at the time, and how blown out that crime scene would have been from all the people trampling through it.
Yeah.
But even the autopsy that was done, which by the way, the Gruber family were buried without their heads. Like, the coroner took their heads and removed the flesh from them.
Oh, was he a skull keeper? Or was he one of those weird fucks?
So here's the thing, is that the authorities would eventually get so desperate for any kind of information on this crime, because this is not only like a kind of landmark case, but there is absolutely nothing here. Like, all they have are bodies. That's it. They got nothing. They get so desperate at some point that they go to mediums with the skulls to get some kind of anything. And let me tell you, both of the reports of that are just...
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Let me just make a bunch of shit up. And
yeah. That's kind of it. Like, eventually the farm passes into Victoria's in-laws. They make the claim that Silly, the daughter, the little Silly, would have been the last person alive, and as a member of their family, it would pass to them.
Sure, yeah.
And the patriarch of that family, whose name I at no point at anywhere wrote down,
whoever he was,
makes one more pass through the farm before he decides demolish the whole thing. This place is just full of sadness. He makes one more pass through it, and like through the attic, and he finds the murder weapon. and immediately passes it on to police, and there is nothing done.
Yeah, because it's not like they have DNA.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder if, because now I'm in my conspiracy brain, makes me wonder if the patriarch of that family had something to do with it. But like,
I have a couple of theories myself, but basically this case kind of falls into history as a great big question mark. It's filled with like superstition and shit. It kind of falls by the wayside. It becomes one of those unsolved mysteries. The further you dig into it, the more you go, my God. Because there later there would be neighbors saying like, oh, it was divine retribution for what he was doing.
yeah, but then why did he kill the kids?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think, like I understand it in the Bible, angels are kind of like atom bombs. They just kind of show up and fuck everything up. But like at the same time, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if
no.
you're going to go with the religious angle, God kills one specific kid one time.
Yeah.
In the story of David. It's just like, you're fucking up. You're fucking up a whole lot. I'm not going to have my dynasty built on you, like, killing a guy and stealing his wife and
Yeah.
bam, dead baby. Like that's, so it's like, that's the whole thing. I don't, if you're going to go to the divine angle, go like demons or something.
I don't know.
This is a pretty demon type story.
But this one, depending on who you listen to, what report you read, which I read a bunch. I listened to a bunch of podcasts yesterday. I made like half a sweater yesterday listening to all of this again.
I love that's your rubric of time.
Yes.
Not like 5 hours. I made half a sweater.
Half a sweater, 295 yards of yarn.
Jeez. Katie measured time in sheens. Skeins?
Skeins. Tomato, potato. Anyway, so...
Ed Skeenan. No, I don't.
So all of this kind of just lingers. And, like, people have their own theories. One of the people that I listened to was dead set that it was Schlittenbauer.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think so. Because I don't think he would have gone after Victoria and the kids. I think he may have been the closest thing to a hero in that particular story.
Yeah, he was trying, right?
Yeah.
And then he couldn't, for whatever reason, couldn't rectify the situation.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know. Like the only damning thing in my personal opinion for Schlittenbauer is how the hell did he get in the house? And you bring up a perfectly valid thing of he probably just kicked the door in.
Right. Now the tracks leading from that part of the forest, though,
yeah,
is the one thing. The Munich newspaper.
Yeah, and there were like in the attic. I told you that Gruber went into the attic the next morning. He found like food stuff in the attic, and like things had been moved around.
Yeah.
So it very much looked like somebody was living in his attic.
Here's the double strange part.
Yeah.
Right? These people had access to the attic. So did they just never go up there and look?
Dude, I don't even know. Like there is this weird dichotomy of like so much information.
Yeah.
But not enough. Like I told you, my initial notes on this were like 9 pages long and I wasn't even done yet. I condensed it down to 3 for this. And I have so many questions. And that poor maid. Oh my God. She literally, the day before the murders, that was her first day of work.
That's wild.
Like her sister dropped her off. Like they walked through the village up to the farm and her sister dropped her off at the farm and they hugged. And I think, if I recall correctly, the sister thanked her for helping her find the job.
Yeah.
Because she had some sort of physical impairment that made finding work difficult. And then her sister, the maid, I believe her name was Maria, hugged her sister so tight before she left. And she said, I can't wait to see you again. And then her sister left. And that was the last time she saw her. Here's the thing, is that I told you that the podcast that I was listening to, like when you came to pick me up, actually, had taken the spooky take on it, right?
Yeah.
So
Krampus. No,
allegedly, Victoria is said to have seen at the edge of the farm at some point before this a man in a military uniform just standing there, staring.
Yeah.
And
oh shit!
whoa.
Oh shit!
Allegedly. Don't know if it's true. But it does feed into the theory of her husband.
Yes.
Having been one of the culprits or the culprit of this, because he wasn't KIA, he was MIA.
Yeah, got shell shocked, went into the forest, or got knocked out by a bomb and laid up in a hospital for a long time.
But that's the thing, is that he never shows back up anywhere else ever. Like there is no record of him beyond his military kaboom.
I mean, it was a lot easier to
disappear at that point. Yeah,
also,
agreed.
He may have just iced himself.
True.
But what about the living in the attic and shit?
Exactly.
Well, it is his house.
I know, but like
that would explain.
Even if there was a fucked up family dynamic like this, why would you not make your presence known? Like, it doesn't make much sense to me for him to come home and then proceed to hide in the attic, and then presumably, if we're following this thread of conspiracy, snap and kill everybody.
Yeah, of just like watching for a long time, and then like why wouldn't he go after the dude first?
Yeah,
and
there are a couple of eyewitness accounts later, like in the 4 days between the murder and them being found, of neighbors saying that they saw two men in and around the farm, and when one person attempted to approach them, the two men turned their faces away so they couldn't identify them, and then somebody else was taking a shortcut through like the outskirts of the farm, presumably to get somewhere, and then somebody on the grounds like basically blinded them with a flashlight. So there are reports that came later of people encountering people on the farm, but
now the two guys, like encountering two guys, would lend credence to the admission on the deathbed.
Maybe, but like once again, the timelines on those don't really add up. One guy, one of the two brothers, or the guy that said he and his brother did it. His brother died in World War II, and he was on his deathbed. And he was presumably, it is kind of alluded to that he was a bit addled. So, grain of salt with that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. Let's say he dies in like 1937, right? You're only like 10 years off, and so
why admit to something like that?
Religion,
maybe. I guess I don't know, but like
last rites. A lot of people would do that. You know what I mean? Like they want to get it off their chest before they die.
I guess. I don't know. So, in 2007, students of the Fürstenfeldbruck, I don't German.
Yeah.
I do not German, but it is a police academy, reopened the cold case with fresh eyes and new forensics, and spent months working on it. And they did come up with a prime suspect, given all of the evidence. And however, they refused to release the name of said prime suspect because they basically didn't want the stigma of that to like harass the family.
Oh, well, that's responsible. Yeah.
True.
Which means that they did DNA analysis.
Yeah.
And the descendants of these people are still around.
So here's the thing, is that you remember how I said that the coroner took the heads and they took the skulls to various mediums? Their heads were lost somewhere in somewhere in the middle of World War II. The heads just vanished.
Yeah, I could see, being that a lot of these cities were being bombed to absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then looted later on. Yikes, though, dude.
So in 1923, the entire farm gets demolished, which is like the next year. And there is now a memorial in place there and nothing else.
Yeah, because who the fuck wants to build a house?
I was listening to a podcast this morning, and the presenter on that one was like, "What do you think about the boogeyman?" Like she took a very like supernatural, spooky spin on it, which was absolute fun. I really did enjoy that. If I recall the name of the podcast, it's like As the Hearts Beat or something.
Ooh, that's the name.
I know, it was very good. It was well done. I enjoyed it. But I also enjoyed the very like spooky spin on the story. Someone else did a very deep dive analytical, and that was one of the people that decided that it was Schlittenbauer that was the culprit there. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't know. I got nothing for this one. Like,
yeah,
it is
without further motive. Like if you said that like Schlittenbauer tried to buy the farm at one point, I'd be like, all right, there's some motive.
yeah.
If it was like we don't know, for instance, what pissed him off and made him not want to marry her anymore.
Well, that presumably was the paternity of the child because he didn't know if the baby was his or
Yeah,
product of incest.
and I don't want to put my personal ethics onto him.
I know,
Right?
I know.
Like
It's
me, I'd
really
be like, well,
hard.
we need to get we need to get her the fuck out of this place right now.
Yeah, like
or
that
whatever.
would be my initial thing too. Ugh, as I sit back and attempt to like get feeling back in my legs. I've been sitting on the edge of my chair for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Trying to keep myself on track. Let me just get comfortable here.
That is so fucking wild. I love the idea that it's the husband, the first husband.
Oh yeah.
Coming back and seeing his wife is married to another person.
Well, no, she never got married again. Like she was never
right.
allowed to get married.
It was the young daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that confused for a second.
Sorry. No. So like Victoria basically said that at one point, maybe, because a lot of this is hearsay and conjecture.
Yeah.
Because lots of it didn't come out until afterwards.
And also they're all dead.
And they're all dead.
So there's no, like, it's not like they're recording the words after the fact. There's no survivors.
Yeah.
Other than maybe the first maid and some of the farmhands.
Yeah, and the first maid came out later to say that the reason she left was because she walked in on Andreas abusing Victoria. I know. Like I said, this one got dark and it got in my head. And 3 years ago me couldn't handle that. So that was the last roll of the dice on my channel.
Yeah.
Was Hinterkaifek, and then 9 pages of notes and trauma later.
The only person that really had the motive to be like, fuck that whole family immediately and have no like compulsion or whatever would be the drifter that like worked for him as a farmhand.
Yeah.
Because that does, like, you see that in murder cases sometimes where like he was kind of weird and he stared at people a little
well, and another
long.
Thing, like,
and then
what
it turned out he's like a serial killer.
Yeah,
like that's you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you should
Can you
really
imagine
when you meet weird people in the world, you really should keep your fucking eye on these people.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, so the thing that initially led me to think, oh, this was just a robbery gone all the way wrong, was that the Grubers were known to be like rich.
Yeah.
And they were rumored to like keep like stores of cash, like the gold marks, just on the farm. Like they had physical wealth beyond.
And all that was stripped away, I assume.
No, it was all still there.
That's what. See, that's
right. That's what made me go, this is not a burglary. This was something personal.
Especially since if they spent so much time in the attic, they would know.
Yeah.
They would kind of have an idea of what
and like
were.
things had been moved around in the attic. Like you know how old attics you can kind of see through the slats.
Uh-huh.
Like you and I are both a little more familiar with like old farm.
Yeah, having like kind of dungeon delved into a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
worked in one actually.
It was said that they could see like the investigation when they went up into the attic, where they found like food rinds and evidence of someone living in there. They could see where things had been moved around, so whomever was in the attic could see below, like see through the slats.
Yeah.
That's so fucking creepy.
And I assume hiding in a crate when they went up there, because that's the thing. Like if it's me, in that time period, I assume everybody has some amount of tactical knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it's just like wars everywhere in the whole world.
Literally.
So the only reason why I wouldn't check the attic is because I don't want to go through the door.
Yeah.
Poking my head up through the door sucks.
Presumably you are
yeah, you're
whack-a-mole.
Yes, you're whack-a-mole, right? Like that's a bad situation to be in.
Well, I presume that's why Andreas waited till daylight.
Yeah.
So he would be caught less blind.
Yeah, he could kind of see assuming there's like a skylight or whatever.
I don't know.
Because I don't know what the roof looks like, for instance. And
I can show you the compound if you want, or you've got your computer.
yeah, because I'm curious if the person, I have everything turned off actually.
Okay, here, I'll just pass you my phone.
I'm curious to see if the person could say leave through a window or something like that and get on the roof. And
so here's one of the few existing photos of the compound.
oh, okay. So this is a slat board roof. There's no windows on the upper. Oh, it's a big fucking attic.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay, so you could hide in here, legitimately hide. Yeah, this is like, of course, pre-AC, so this is summer raftering.
And it's also
it might be
winter.
Yeah, it might be like a couple stories.
Yeah.
That's like not true stories, but like, rafters, if for anybody who's been in a theater, can often be multi-layered, and you have to scrounge around and kind of crawl to get everywhere, but like, you can hide. Yeah. You can hide. We used to purposefully play hide and seek in the as stage crew people, and like, you can hide in a place big enough with a lot of beams. That's so crazy. So yeah, it's like a Dutch style farm, 3 big buildings and some small buildings outside.
And there's of course pasture and fields and all of that.
Yeah, I see what looks like a very large pump in the middle for watering, and then like, because it looks like a windmill pump. It's real tall.
What gets me is that the killers stayed there, like stayed there, presumably for several days, like taking care of the animals.
Maybe
living with the carnage in the barn.
So I can buy the brothers, because the thing is like, yeah, they hid the bodies, right?
Yeah.
And then after that,
there it is. There's the picture. So okay, sorry, I went digging for the picture so I could show you. So we don't know who this young guy on the end is, but the older woman in the picture is.
Jeez, he looks evil as fuck, dude.
We have no idea who that is. Unknown.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. That's who it is.
But the older woman beside him is the elder Cecilia. The woman beside her, if I recall the order of the photo correctly, is very, very pretty. And that's Victoria. And then there's a woman on the end holding a child, and that's the previous maid, whose name I have completely forgotten.
Yeah, they're both fairly pretty. The one right next to the old woman has the same cheekbones.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I would say that, yeah, that's the daughter. Yeah, jeez. Yeah, he looks scary.
I don't know who that is, and nobody else does either.
Yeah, the killer. That's who it is. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I looked at his face and was like, I don't like that at all. He looks like he's a little soft in the head, and also, like, real fucking creepy.
Like, there's something creepy about him. But, I mean, that may also just be our perception of old photographs, too.
Yeah, he might literally go like this, and then it looks weird.
Yeah.
Little lighting and stuff.
Because he does have very prominent cheekbones.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's got a bit of a prominent brow, too.
Yeah, he's got the North German thing going on. And, yeah, he may be just, like, smirking, like, it's okay, photo. Like that, and then they took a picture, and it looks creepy to us.
Yeah.
But it does look very creepy.
So...
I can buy the brother thing for this reason.
Huh.
If you're staying in the house, because, like, you've just done a murder, right? Keeping the baby in the crib, though, is wild.
And the maid, like, it's... So there's a bit of a toss-up on whether the maid was found under her bed or just kind of slumped beside it.
Yeah.
Not really sure. Like I said, conflicting accounts. I read a lot a while ago. But the fact that they kind of just left the bodies where they lie, presumably, and then just kind of went about life on the farm for 4 days.
Yeah, why hide some bodies?
Yeah, and in one report I read, one of the great big heavy barn doors had been, like, laid on top of Gruber in the barn. And, like, the 3 men had to, like, struggle to move it, to pull them out. I don't know. I don't necessarily know how true that one is, but it was amongst the evidence and stuff that I read.
Man.
I don't know. It's weird. The whole case is just weird.
Yeah, because It almost seems like the rest of them were marched out to the barn.
Yeah, like,
Like
they're
there's a quick kill, and then the rest of them were marched out.
there's a running theory that the family was lured to the barn one by one.
Yeah.
But why the little girl? Did she just come with Victoria?
Yeah,
Like,
possibly.
I don't understand. And why the extra violence to the women?
I mean, I ask that question about serial killers all the time.
True, very true. But I don't know. It was noted specifically that Victoria showed signs of strangulation, which is typically a crime of passion. Like,
yeah.
that, like when you're strangling someone, it's personal.
And I mean,
typically.
unless that's your thing, because like the Boston Strangler did it because it was like that's how he got his rocks off again. Yikes, man!
Leave me a note. Yeah, I know. This whole thing is just
like if you're gonna hide the bodies in the barn, I see the luring out thing because it's like, why'd you hide some bodies and not the others?
Yeah, like
That
why
doesn't
leave
make
the
any
maid
sense.
and the baby?
Yeah,
What's up with that? I don't know. This whole thing just bleh.
it's also like there's an extra layer of malice here
Mm.
that is not necessarily immediately apparent. This is very much in the age of guns.
Yeah, and this was a pickaxe.
Yeah, like a small one.
Like, and I get that presumably guns are loud and you don't want to draw attention, especially if you're doing a murder. God. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like a pickaxe.
A small one
Yeah.
too. It's not like a big
Like,
two-handed pick. Like that's like a trowel. Like
yeah,
it's
typically
like
used
a rooting
for gardening,
tool.
if I remember right.
That's why like I had a hard time remembering until like you showed me. I was like, I have one of these.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
But we also garden.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Little known fact about me: I used to live in Bavaria in the 1920s. Yeah, no, that's very. It's very odd. It's not a very efficient weapon.
I know.
Unless you hit someone in the head, because the thing is, like, you swing it at the body, they can like grab it. It's not super big.
This is very, very, very personal.
Yeah,
it feels like to me. Like, and once again, this is just my thoughts. It's conjecture. But like, I don't know. Somebody was out for either this family or farm. It just feels personal.
it does make the scratches on the door make sense with the mattock, though.
Oh
If he
yeah,
was
using
trying
it to pry it open.
Yeah. That's that. I was just like, it's the handle. It's like on the back, it would be like the handle being worked because it's smacking against it or rubbing, and then on the frame and shit, it's because you're prying.
Yeah.
So like that part makes sense at least. That's a little less creepy. As you like, and maybe scraping on the door to get debris off the blade.
There's just so much. There's so much of this that tells us very, very little.
Yeah, it's the inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is a point for the brothers again, though. Like why hide some bodies and not the others? You have two personalities.
Oh.
For instance, like Jesse James and Cole Younger were very different as people. Like Bonnie and Clyde, not so much, right? But like sometimes if you have a pair, one of them is really a killer, and the other one is just kind of following.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
I guess.
So
I don't know, but like I feel like a confession like that.
You did only get a confession from one of them.
Oh yeah, the other one was dead.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't that be like interesting if there's two of them? One of them had a guilty conscience. The other one could give less of a fuck.
Yeah, I guess.
It's
I don't know.
I know why you would stay at the farm for a little while, especially why you would tend the animals, especially the milking cow. If you're gonna like leave the farm and then go after winter breaks, you're gonna stay behind and like make cream and shit, and store food, bake bread, dry it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like neighbors saw smoke coming out of the chimney.
Yeah, you're gonna make food.
Yeah,
and they have the stuff there to make food, and so you're gonna pack as much food as possible and then leave. Especially if you're trying to make your way to like I don't know, Finland or some shit. Like somewhere away.
But the thing with the brothers, like I'm stressing this because it's just the vibe I get off it. Like this whole murder was very personal.
Yeah.
These brothers had no connection to them.
Yeah, that's very true. But it's I think about things like the Manson family murderers.
Mm.
Their connection to Sharon Tate, for instance, was entirely ideological. It had nothing to do, like, none of them knew them. It just was that Charles Manson was running a cult and he was helter-skelter and they were all doing a ton of LSD. So it made sense to them and they were going to follow what Manson said anyways. And, like, in that group, the violent one was Tex. The rest of them were just kind of like cult members. And then Tex was the one that was like the enforcer. Right? So when they went in, a lot of the heavy violence was done by him, and the rest of them were just kind of there, like tying people up and doing all kinds of shit.
I guess
but
that
like,
tracks.
I could see it being the two.
Well, and like that's the only confession.
Yeah, and it's the only thing that explains the Munich paper.
Yeah.
Because that could be a red herring. That could just be like that paper's. But I assume it was recent because otherwise that would explain itself.
Yeah.
If you went up to the attic and you found a paper that was like 13 years old, you'd be like, "Oh, it's an old paper." It wouldn't clock as weird to you.
Yeah.
It would clock as interesting to you, And so like the voices in the attic, it's a big enough attic to hide.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like a transient person is a little bit better at hiding, and so like because they often have to be.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
So much.
There's a lot of it that, right, it could literally be, I'm just rationalizing how it could be these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that make the most sense to me, especially if they got tipped off by like especially if one of the brothers, because this may be a hole that we don't know about. There are people who are coming to the farm to do work, like the mechanic came to fix something.
Mm-hmm.
There were salesmen. There was, this one like bad apple, presumably from these people might be he's an upstanding individual, and he's like, I'm gonna report you, and they kicked him out, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there are people coming in and out, and the family has a reputation, and people are talking about them. Two brothers going into a town transiently and hearing that there's a wealthy family that's kind of miserly that never leaves their house. And everybody kind of hates them, is a prime target.
Yeah.
Why they would leave the money, though?
Exactly.
That's like,
exactly.
That's the fucking weird thing. That's
the
what
money,
leads
the
me
jewelry.
to like, that kind of behavior is like, that kind of behavior is just straight serial killer shit. Where it's just like, I'm killing for the fucking lulz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and one of the I touched on this earlier about divine retribution. Is like what if it really was like some vigilante? Like this guy is a known abuser.
Yeah, and maybe a family that he considers to be inherently tainted because of the like incest children and stuff.
I guess I don't know, but I read a long time ago is like one of the things that you can't fathom the way someone thinks is because it would never occur to you.
Right. I would never, right. How it would occur to me if I was a vigilante is just to shoot that guy.
Yeah.
As he like
take care of the fucking problem, not everyone else.
Yeah, 5 a.m. he comes out to like, milk the cows, and I shoot him in the back of the head and walk off into the woods.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And
why kill everyone?
Kill everyone?
Unless you see like the elder Cecilia as an enabler and I guess Victoria is beyond redemption.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't follow that particular train of logic very far.
There's one other possibility here that I kind of hope. So there is a very famous Hercule Poirot book where he's on the train at the Orient Express. And if you've ever seen this or know this story, I would say spoilers, but it's literally from like 1930. So like, it's been made into a movie like 5 times.
And a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah, that's right. So the case is that there's a bunch of evidence that doesn't really lead anywhere. And the answer is, it's everyone.
Oh, the whole town did it?
What if the town just killed these people?
Maybe. I don't... But
it would explain all the red herrings.
I guess.
I mean, it depends how bad the family is. You know what I mean? Because we don't maybe don't have a lot of information about the mom. And
yeah, there was
might
precious little about the elder Cecilia.
There might be like layers to this about like how weird this family really is. Like that's a weird thing to be like, maybe.
I guess.
Or a large, not everybody, but like a large congregation of dudes just kind of went in and then made up a bunch of shit.
It might also explain why there was a fucking crowd of people just tromping through.
Yep. Doing exactly what they did on the Orient Express and purposefully fucking up evidence. Why the town coroner removed all the skin from their
heads.
Yeah, like, even though that's literally where the entry wounds are. Like, part of that is just preserving the body. It's not like they had big freezers back then. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't know. This one is just weird all the way around. Like, it initially fucked me up because, dear God, once I started digging, like, I've walked you through my research process before. Like, I find the subject, I find proof that the subject is real because, boy howdy, let me tell you, I wasted like 6 hours yesterday chasing down Bigfoot.
Chasing down the Bigfoot.
Fuck. I was so mad. I was so angry. That's how we wound up on Hinterkaifek, by the way, is because I already had all of that research and I was like, fuck it, we're doing it live.
Dude.
I was angry.
I mean, the admittance to doing it on your deathbed
comes out of left field.
Yeah, and the not taking the money, because even serial killers usually take things.
Yeah,
and
they'll take souvenirs at least.
Yeah,
typically.
And if you are a vagrant serial killer or just a serial killer, like H.H. Holmes was rich.
Yeah.
The only reason he never took any of their stuff is because he was wealthy.
It's so weird that you say H.H. Holmes, because when you walked in my door, the podcast had flipped over to the H.H. Holmes
this
murder
is very
mansion.
H.H. Holmes of like, and there's no evidence because like there was tons of it. They just hadn't found it yet.
Yeah.
But it's the whole thing of just like, and we found local cops like, and we found nothing, and then like a guy walks into the house for like 5 seconds and he goes, well, they were living up here and here's the murder weapon.
Yeah.
Like,
doing a final sweep of the property. And
it's just that it's
the murder weapon.
so dumb. Like they went through and they were like, well, we didn't, like the tracks obviously can't. There's too many people there.
Yeah.
But like the evidence of like a person in the woods, and then there was these two grifters and
the missing keys.
Yeah. And the whole thing of like, he was saying anybody who would look, that to me spells a guy who has been around, or another possibility, our young female protagonist who is trying to get away tries to stage something. It goes poorly. They kill her anyways and bolt. But then again, if that's the case, they would definitely take the money.
Yeah.
It's the not taking the money that's the weird part. Now, if the town did it, not taking the money would be a great red herring. That's not a lot of money between a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not the whole town, but a large group of people in the town. Let's say concerned vigilantes. Or witch hunters. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we're in rural Germany. That's something that needs to be... yeah.
Yeesh.
So, like, that is that kind of thing.
You see?
There's so much.
You see?
Yeah, like, I'm sitting there going, like, I'm listing people and trying to understand motives. The only thing that really makes any sense to me is the two brothers, except for the gold marks. Now, if it's just paper marks, they may leave it because they think it's going to be worth absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't make sense to carry around a bunch of coinage that it doesn't have any purchasing power,
mm-hmm.
or that you don't want to be connected with. Right? Like, if you've just done a real fucked up thing, you don't want to be like, and here's coinage specifically from this area.
But why leave behind the actual valuable stuff?
Yeah, why?
Like
right.
The jewelry, the gold marks. What?
Only for evidence.
I guess.
That's because that is like damning evidence. Most evidence is pretty circumstantial, but like stuff on your person is damning, right? Like, you're just like, no, officer, I wasn't at that farm. Why do you have this lady's wedding ring? You know what I mean? Like, it's damning. I mean, that's the thing that gets you sent to the gallows. So that's crazy, though. Like, there's so much. It's going to cause me to deep dive this shit.
I hope you do, because I really, like, this is one of those situations where I would absolutely I want to see the difference between our thought process here. Because we often joke that we are very much on the same vibe most of the time. But I don't know. I came away from this going, what?
Yeah, my brain is trying to solve it, and I keep running into, but this part doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I could say that the town, that's why I arrived at the town did it, because I was just like, because there's no clear answer.
Yeah.
And that's just something I learned from a lot of, like, looking at a lot of Poirot-type books, is that, like, when there's no answer, it's an inside job. And so, and sometimes that is the case in real life. It's the person that called the cops is the one that did it.
Yeah.
And in real life, cops are real good at figuring that out. You know, like, they're like, well, this is you got too much information.
And considering the where and the when this happened, the added level of spook beneath it.
Yeah.
You know? So
I love the detail about the guy standing at the end of the woods.
I know. That
could be a whole
movie. In a military uniform.
Yeah.
Just what? And it comes out of left field for that one too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
It does make an amount of sense, though.
Somebody
like,
casing the joint?
Well,
or maybe it was the husband.
Like, kind of husband coming back, losing his mind, being up in the attic, muttering to himself for a couple of days because they heard speaking.
Yeah, they heard talking, they heard footsteps, things being moved around.
Yeah.
They found food.
And then coming down, killing everybody, and then just dying in the woods.
Yeah.
Like, that's a simple answer. It's also something someone would write.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
I don't know.
The two brothers make a lot more sense with the talking. Kind of. Because the thing is like, if you're sneaking around, you're not doing a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And so, like...
Especially if you're living in someone's attic. And
the whispering, if they were whispering, you could hear it because they're in the middle of the woods, right? Like they're close to a town, but they're not in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
Right? So sound
it's
carries.
Quiet.
Yeah. And this is, dude.
I know. I'm sorry to hand you a mystery like this, but...
And I want to know how much money, too, and where. Like, for instance, like, if it's a small amount of money hidden well, then it's a non-event to me. Because I'm like, well, what if they just couldn't find it? Right? But if there's, like, a safe they had the key to, you know, like, well, that shit should have been gone.
I don't know, because, like, a lot of it came from hearsay from the town afterwards. Because, like, obviously the Grubers are rumored to be very, very, very well off because they are the family that is not suffering through all of this.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, due to money and connections, even though their reputations are ruined, they're still fine.
Yeah, that he hasn't been immediately, like, shackled and...
Yeah. I mean, he got thrown in jail for, I think it was a year. I think he served a year. And Victoria was in for a month. But there's just, I have so many more questions and, like, not enough information to draw answers from.
Yeah.
Because every podcast, every YouTube video, every paper and report is going to have some sort of personal bias in it. Like, leaning towards, it was the one of the brothers, or the brothers that confessed to it, or it was the neighbor, or then you'll have, you know, the spookies.
Sure.
Who were like, it was the husband returned from war, half mad, and
it would be interesting to see if like deep diving to see, like, is Gruber or the mother in some way related ideologically to the power structure of the town. Like I read a thing about Karl Marx one time, right? He married a Vaughn. He married a lady of nobility, which is very funny in a lot of reasons, because he was Jewish, and he married a German Catholic woman, and they married on the run because the brother wouldn't allow it, and he was part of the military aristocracy. So there was a rising socialist leaning in his time, that the military very much was not okay with. This is a feudalistic system, right? So it would be interesting to see the religious lines of the town, who was where, the social lines, like who was loyalist, who wasn't. Because we're in a fracturing socialist democracy right now. You know, in the 20s, the pan-German idea has just kind of collapsed. There's so much to this. Well, anyways.
So yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I had to go
for this. This is badass.
It's a mess, is what it is.
Yeah.
I went and dug it up, and I found the husband's name finally.
Yeah.
It's Carl.
Carl Gruber.
Carl Gabriel.
Oh, we were way off. Okay.
That was
Oh wait, that's the first husband.
Yeah. Not Cecilia's husband, Victoria's husband.
Yeah.
The one that died in the war.
Yeah.
Is Carl Gabriel. I was remembering Gabriel for some reason. And the neighbor, Schlittenbauer's first name was Lawrence.
Okay.
That's what I was over here Googling.
Lauren Schlittenbauer.
Yeah. And the brothers that one of them confessed on his deathbed are the Gump brothers.
Oh, amazing. The Gump brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Hinterkaifek. Whole lot of questions.
Wow. All right. Well, fuck. Thank you for listening to Morbid Mondays, as we talked about Hinterkaifeks and what would make an excellent horror movie in just a family being stalked by an undead soldier coming back from World War I.
Oh, dude. Or not even undead. Like, just half crazy.
Yeah, just a Sisu type dude. You know, just like a big, scary guy and with a farm tool. It's very.
Don't get me wrong. I'd watch that movie. I'm
Yeah.
a horror movie junkie. You know that. I look forward to the conversation we're going to have on this once you've had time to do your own research on it. I want to see if you align with my thoughts here.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I know.
I enjoy little mysteries like this. I must first grow a very thin mustache. All right. Y'all have a good day. Don't if you hear whispering in your attic, leave. Just leave.
Leave.
Yeah,
just
leave.
Just nope.
Also, like, because there's been many other stories where people were actually up there and living in the attic, and cops. You go get cops and you say, "Hey, search the attic."
Yeah.
Guy with body armor, backup, and firearms. You know, like, and then you be the backup. You all go up there together and you fucking tear the place apart till you found what's making the noise.
Preferably with some kind of weapon. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today on the ridiculous mystery that murdered my TikTok channel. Oh no. Be careful, be safe, have fun. Let me know your thoughts on it, cuz like I said, this one was the Cliff Notes version of it. There's so much out there. Give it a read if you dare, and catch us next time.
Yeah. Bye. Hey, this is Brian from Morbid Mondays. If you like the show, please consider stopping by at our Kofi account. That's ko-fi/Morbid Mondays. It's $1 a month, or just any one-time tip. And if you would like to help us fund our future endeavors or just want to show a little bit of appreciation, awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't. Whatever. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.